and the obligatory handheld version. So it's probably going to be a little bit harder for them to reuse assets from Battle for Bikini Bottom in this game. So let's see what happens here. Welcome to the DS version of Boating Bash. I swear every single time I think I recognize this music too. Every single time I play a game on the DS, I always forget until the very moment I'm about to start recording that I need to make a background for it. Whoops. So I threw this together in like 5 to 10 minutes. This background you're seeing here, I just pulled a picture of the boating school. Which, if this is anything like the console version, we're not going to see much of any of the boating school. Oops. No, that's not what I meant to say. That's weird. It looked like it animated the A button when I pressed. The A button's just being animated in general. It's a very excited button. But on the other hand, the button I actually pressed, that being the Y button, in this case, it's not getting animated. Interesting. Music on off. And movie list. I guess that's cutscenes we'll see later. Should we peek in the garage already? We don't have much in our garage, unfortunately, as you can see. I guess that's not surprising. We don't need a boat.
We meet again in the sleepy town of Bikini Bottom. It is a most important day for Spongebob. Not only is it the day of his boating school exam, it is also the last test of the year. Should he fail, Spongebob will face another whole year of boating school. I'm ready!
The game seems to want me to press the A button, but...
Okay, Spongebob.
Okay, I was about to say, there's no way they have fully voiced cutscenes or anything. Yeah, that'd be kind of weird. I'm curious if I just pressed A when the game was originally telling me to, if I'll just skip that whole scene. I'm surprised we have any voice acting at all. That's abnormal for a game like this, on this system.
Oh yeah, I'm ready, so ready, I'm ready.
A surprising amount of dialogue, though, actually. I'm curious if these are lines recorded specifically for... These are probably just the same lines that were recorded for the console version. I don't remember off the top of my head all the lines in this cutscene in the console version, admittedly. Watch the top screen.
Touch the touch screen.
Oh, no, that's new dialogue. We actually do have to use the cursor for this. 1 second. Sorry for making sounds. Alright. I can tap the A button too. Great. It's kind of random. It's really random which things they decided to voice. Oh, is this going top down? Faster?
The boat goes faster.
This will be interesting. So this probably won't be as complicated as it was, so it's not quite top down. It's more like isometric 3D. Oh, it actually shows on the top screen too. That's interesting. This is... Huh. I guess this works. Yeah. And it's gonna be a lot more complicated if we start having to press buttons or something, but... The game seems pretty okay with me going backwards. Yeah, I've been making progress this whole time. This doesn't seem like a very faithful recreation of the boating school, though, admittedly. This is not the decor that I'm used to seeing at the boating school. One thing I forgot to mention at the end of the console version was I was kind of bummed that we didn't get to do more stuff in the boating school, because that's probably the most accurate. Why is there random military people on the road? So, well, we've reached an impasse. Yes, please.
3, 2, 1, go!
Hello. But the version of the Bowie School, this seems kind of like the Bowie School in shape, but not in decor, which is really strange. Like, that's not what the Bowie School usually looks like. These textures are really strangely chosen. It's really odd, actually. Have I heard this music somewhere before? I also don't even remember the music from the console version of this very same game, to be perfectly honest. I didn't find it very memorable. But the depiction of the Bowie School in that game is probably the most detailed 3D, especially interactive. Yeah, that's the wall I just passed. It's very vaguely the same shape as the actual Bowie School course, but it is strange. On the other hand, the console version of this area is probably the most detailed and faithful recreation of Mrs. Puff's Bowie School, as far as I'm aware, to have ever existed. So actually getting to drive around and like race in it or whatever would have been really nice. Actually, no.
Very good, Spongebob.
What about the one in Light Camera Pants? How did that one compare? I don't think that one was quite the same as it is in the show, though. But there was a recreation of the Bowie School, at least approximately, in the racing game in Light Camera Pants. Alright, Sancho.
Please!
Oh, do we not have the detailed, like boat version of your Pip-Boy in this thing? You just have one health meter for your whole car, I guess? Oh no, I don't know if I should try that. That is going to be very incompatible with where my fingers are. Oh no.
Oh, dear.
Alright, I'm gonna have to figure out what the appropriate setup for my hands here.
So did I pass this time, Mrs. Puff?
Still at the boating school.
What seems to be the problem, son? I failed my driving test again.
At least some of these I think are lines from the game.
I'd do anything to get my license. See more scale, Sister May.
And this is basically an abridged version of the console version, same cutscene, but which is actually surprising. Oftentimes I find that there are large differences between
Oh, my name isn't Seymour Scales.
even the premises, even the plots of the handheld and not handheld versions of the game tend to be fairly different. Not in this case though. At least not yet. No, you're not. Did you actually see that in the game, or in the console version too?
Destruction, recklessness, impairment, velocity, and escape.
I still disagree with the game's interpretation of the escape one.
Why, this code virtually pays for itself.
How did that work in the console version? Because there was mention of SpongeBob actually having to pay for it. But I thought he also just said in the opening that he wasn't able to pay for it or something weird like that. I don't quite remember how that worked specifically. But he specifically mentioned Mr. Krabs in the ending, that his job had some relevance to him having money to pay for the exam or something like that. Okay, so now we diverge. Here's when the timelines split from each other. Do they? Patrick's evidently really good at it, based on the first episode that the driving school appeared in. I can't think of almost any of those other characters ever driving. Does anyone actually need to drive? SpongeBob seems to be a pretty functional adult without driving anywhere, actually. It just so happens I sell insurance, too. Okay, so now I'm curious how this is gonna go. Oh, I got a good mark on the tutorial already. Wonderful. Destruction. Complete laps to add more time, so that's different. Okay. So this is not a carbon copy. Wait, we're still at the driving school?
I'm ready. All right, SpongeBob.
No, or not.
I'll do my best.
And how many boats I lose so I don't get kicked out immediately if I get disabled? That's nice. Prepared each lap. Jeez, this game is generous.
That a boy!
Alright.
3, 2, 1.
Huh. Same boats in this game though. Well, so far this is just kind of bumping into everyone. Somehow they hurt me too? There we go. I passed. Jeez. Okay. That was brief. I owe nothing. Well, that wasn't much of a preview of what this game is. Now 5 other boats. I don't imagine we're going to have cutscenes for every single level. Yep, okay.
3, 2.
No generic fish this time though. No anchovy. Which is kind of sad. Yeah, so this music I think is the music was also in the console version. Yeah, they just reappear immediately. It's kind of weird. So it's really just a matter of using turbo enough. I do also notice that you, no. Oh, careful there. No one actually has much health here. It's just using turbo repeatedly with the right timing, I guess. Clicking in the wrong spots. It's hard to distinguish a good hit from your opponent and a bad one, to be perfectly honest. It's kind of weird, no one else is really aggressing here. Maybe that'll change, but there we go. Not the best there. I owe $8. Cheap indeed, I guess. They're not really kidding about that. But so recklessness, no. We got more of this to do. See how well we can do here. So it seems to be largely just whether I get hit from the side that determines whether I take damage. I think.
3, 2, 1.
Thing is, I know I can also ram from behind to deal damage. And the whole going faster by moving the bubble further thing actually really does matter. I don't know how much money actually really matters in this game yet. It's more like trying to catch everyone, and it is just racing against them. And it is trying to knock them out. Hey. I don't know precisely what determines my grade other than just not taking damage here. I don't know if time matters, for instance. Is that 1 out of 10 like a max number of laps? In the bottom of the corner? The top screen? Doesn't matter how much money I pick up or anything like that. Yeah, it's really hard to figure out how to best actually deal damage to enemies here. There we go. Just charging into them when you're close to them seems to be the most reliable thing. Boat condition, total race time. Okay, so the game wants me... Oh, I probably should pay attention to that last time. the breakdown. So I need to be faster. So that's the question. How do we do this faster? And I guess this will be the last thing I do this episode too. But we gotta get the hang of things before we move on. The idea is to learn, isn't it?
2, 1, go!
Kind of hard to tell. It seems like it's really just whoever happens to be moving faster is the one who deals damage as opposed to taking it, or something like that. I also have a really hard time telling what determines who does what here. Race time's better. I might have to come back for this later then. Getting the hang of things, I guess. It is a little strange, though. We move straight to R without actually finishing on D. That's odd. Now this one's just completing a lap. So far it's more racing based, but we'll see if that sticks. Bye, everyone.